Hi everybody and welcome to our Boost Credit Talks on Facebook. Thank you for joining us live. Today we're going to shed some light on life with better credit and particularly how you can get an improved credit score and benefit your life. Today I'm joined with Jason. How are you?
Liz, I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking. Well, hello everybody. Once again, my name is Jason. For those of you who don't remember me, I was a part of the previous Boost Credit Talks. I work in customer service and operations here at Rent Reporters, and I'm looking forward to today's discussion. I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
So make sure to like this video, share it with your friends and family so they can learn more about life with better credit, and you can help them improve their score. You can ask any questions throughout the video, and we'll make sure to answer them live at the end of the segment. So we're going to talk first about Credit 101 and explain it.
All right, so basically, credit is a contractual agreement where we borrow money for the goods or services that we want to purchase, and we promise to pay it back over time. Really, how much credit you get is basically equal to how much money you have available to borrow.
So then that's credit, but then what's your credit score? It's a 3-digit number ranging anywhere from 300 to 850, depending on if you're using the FICO score, if you're using the Vantage score. But the general idea is the larger the number is, the better your credit score. And this is going to be the largest the most important 3-digit number in your financial life. This tells creditors how creditworthy you are to borrow money, and it's basically your resume for borrowing money.
Definitely. Now I'm just going to break it down for you a little further. Specifically, I'm going to go over the ranges of the credit. So bad credit is below 600. Good credit.
Sorry.
All right. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties here. Poor credit is between 600 and 649. Fair credit is between 650 and 699. Good credit is between 700 and 749. And excellent credit is anything above 750.
Great. So we're going to talk about what I like to call the credit paradox. So like I said earlier, credit is like your resume. Well, there's a common paradox that you need work experience to get a job, but you also need a job to gain work experience. Well, the same applies for credit. You need credit to get credit, but you can't get credit because you don't have credit history. Those are the people that we call the credit invisible. It's kind of weird, right? And this is why people tend to feel trapped. Because how can you fully participate in a credit-driven society if no one gives you any credit? So we want to quickly give a shout out to the board. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it. This is absolutely like our best piece yet, and we want to just tell Aileth, like, what an amazing job she did.
She did a beautiful job here.
So when we sat down and we were planning what we wanted to do this week on Life with Better Credit, we thought of life. Like, everybody hopefully has played the game Life, and man, she definitely exceeded my expectations, and we kind of just want to go throughout the idea of the design and through the game plan. So like we said earlier, we have our credit invisible people. And so we have a guy who's kind of credit invisible before he starts the game of Credit Live. And we kind of have two routes that you can take. And I'm going to start with the first one. And it's kind of, as you can tell, it's a little bit more intertwined, a little bit more complex. So we started this journey. Hopefully we have a car. It may not be, but it's a car that's going to get us through. We can first job. It's a little cubicle with a guy standing by. That's by far my favorite thing on the board. And now that we have a job, that's the only time we really should get a credit card. We should only get a credit card if we have the money to finance it. After we have a job, hopefully we can get an apartment. Is the camera flipped opposite direction? Okay, just want to make sure everybody can see it. Awesome. So now that we have our apartment and we're renting, we're probably spending a lot of money on rent. People mostly pay about, what do you think? I pay $1,200 for my rent here in LA for 1 bedroom. Depending on where you live, it's definitely, yeah, that's a good price. Depending on where you live, it's definitely going to increase. So that's a huge amount of our financial income that we're splitting between the two. We hopefully have the opportunity to get an education, and when we get an education, that puts us through debt. So here's our long, windy road. Go ahead, Jason.
And that is just one path that you can take along your credit life. Another path you can take is once you do get your card, you may not choose to do these options and get that job right away or go to school, and you may not need to do that. As you see, there are less curves and less winds in this particular path here. On this path, you see you can take the easy street, and you can get married and eventually purchase a house. And now I know it kind of ends right here, but getting married is not the end of life. I assure you. You could also come back here, and this. You want to go ahead and explain that next path?
Up here?
Sure.
Yeah, so you get married, you buy your house, hopefully you meet the right person and you have some little babies along the way, and we know that having children is crazy expensive. They're a blessing, but my gosh, they're really expensive to have, especially when you think of everything that they need. You want to start planning ahead for them. You want to hopefully put them through this route. Even though it's longer, it's going to lead to more financial options for them in the future, so you want to save up for college for them. But then we take this route, and hopefully we can end in retirement and travel and live a long retirement that's fun, and you get to travel the world, hopefully. So
yeah, you work so hard in the beginning. Hopefully you're able to enjoy what you worked for at the end.
And as you see, she was even really smart about the spectrum that she picked, and it kind of goes from being red, and you can see it's starts off really red, and that's kind of the idea of poor credit, and we can transition out of it into better credit. And the idea is, as we go through life, we're going to hopefully gain better credit, but it's going to take a really long time to get there. So going off the idea of this, I spent some time with some friends last night, and I had a really fun time. We actually made some life cards, so thank you to my two best friends, Don and Vicky, for helping me put these together. It's been really fun. And Jason and I are just going to take a crack at picking some cards out and seeing how we end up on this game. So,
yeah, so we are going to play My Credit Life right now for you here. And it looks like I'm up first.
Pick a card.
All right, and it looks like I pulled a red card.
Ooh.
And now, red, as we said, is kind of associated with negative. So throughout life, you're going to have positives and negatives depending on what path you choose to take. And so, by luck of the draw, I have went into collections. I don't know if you can see this card, but you see collections, move back 7 squares. So that means I have actually added a derogatory mark to my credit report. And remember, a derogatory mark is actually one of the 5 elements that make up your credit score. You definitely want to make sure that you avoid these at all costs by paying off your bills on time.
I'm going to go ahead and pull the next card, and oh, nice. And I very luckily have pulled a green card. So, like we said, red equals bad, green equals good. So the idea is, with this green card, I hopefully did something positive. And what I actually got is that I started early. And this tells me to move forward 10 squares. So starting early is a big jump. How many squares did you lose for this one?
Oh, goodness, I lost 7 squares.
So collections got 7 years. Why 7?
Just because. Collections stay on your credit score for about 7 years.
So 7 years of bad luck. It's like breaking that mirror. And with starting early, you're going to move over 10 squares. So you can see relative, this is a huge jump on the board, because the earlier you start your credit life, the better. That's going to add to your credit history. So one thing that you want to do to move forward and do positive in this game of credit life is start your credit early. I was having a conversation with one of my friends who was telling me that at the age of 18, she wanted to open up a credit card, but her dad kind of had some reservations and fear with her, and he was telling her, no, you can't open a credit card because then you're going to go wild and spend all this money. That's not always the best idea. You should open a credit card, but one of the things that we're going to talk about later is you have to learn to budget it. Do get that credit card, but don't go crazy with it. Like we said, have a job, then get a credit card, so that way you can pay off what you're getting. All right, Jason, go ahead and pick the next one.
Let's see what I get. Oh, luckily I'm moving ahead in life, all right? And let's see what it says. It says, I am keeping a budget, move forward 5 squares. Oh. This is awesome. Keeping a budget is definitely one way to help to maintain your credit. It's actually one of the things that folks with good credit do. This will allow you to make sure you can pay off all of your debts on time, so you actually can improve your credit score.
And then I'm going to go ahead and pick next, and don't even tell me what color is it.
It's red.
Red. Ah, Okay, so unfortunately, I had my identity stolen. I've had some identity theft, and I have to move back 12 squares. So if I moved up 10 and I moved back 12, does that put me in negative credit now?
It does.
Dang, I'm off the board. I'm not even playing anymore. I kind of fell off the board. That stinks. So this is why one of the important things is if you have your identity stolen, it is really going to set your credit back. So you really want to get on top of it, talk to the right people, call these creditors, and let them know, like, hey, I've had my identity stolen. Please get this corrected.
Definitely, and you know, it's not the most terrible thing to be back 2 squares, because that is life. You know, you always face these obstacles, but you got to persevere.
All right, next one.
Oh, and unfortunately, I did pull a red square again, and this time it's bankruptcy.
Oh.
All right.
How many squares is that?
Now this is going to move you 7 squares back. And that's because, once again, a bankruptcy does stay on your credit profile for 7 to 10 years. So essentially, you're getting, once again, that 7 years of bad luck Liz referred to. All right. Now, a bankruptcy occurs when you're unable to repay an outstanding debt, and then you're able to file for bankruptcy. All of your assets are measured and evaluated, and you may be able to repay a portion of your outstanding debt, and the rest is forgiven. All right. Now, you'll definitely see a big drop in your credit score if you have good credit. And if you have modest to bad credit, you won't see as big of a drop, but it's definitely going to affect you negatively, which is why I did get 7 years of bad luck.
All right, and I kind of peeked. I have a red card.
Liz, are you cheating?
I wanted to know if I was going to move up or back.
Okay.
So I got...
Maybe I should pull those when you pull, just so you don't
Like,
cheat.
I'm back 2 squares, and now I'm back even more, so let's see what I have. Okay, so you don't remember how I started really early? Well, I didn't make the best decision, and I thought, you know what? Let me close closing your Otis accounts on your credit report. Move back 10 squares.
Wow, well that sounds like it's a biggie.
I don't think I'm winning, guys. So this is like, if I open a credit card, let's say I was smart and I opened up a credit card at 18, then I closed it. And if I'm right now I'm 25, so I close it, I lose all those years of reporting history. So that was not a very smart move, and it actually really, really pushed me back on the board. All right, Jay.
All right. And it seems like I'm kind of getting all the good picks here. Once again,
Did somebody fix these cards?
I don't think so. They're supposed to be randomly ordered.
I'm not even...
So apparently I am able to move forward 7 spaces or 7 squares because I am paying making my payments on time. And once again, that's very important because it's one of the 5 elements of your that make up your credit score, making on-time payments and the percentage that you do make those. If you're not making on-time payments, you'll certainly see a drop in your credit score and your credit worthiness when it comes to your lenders.
Awesome. So things are looking up. Maybe it's not so fixed.
All right.
I got a green card, and I've been able to keep my limits low, move up 7 squares. So what this means is on the credit that I do have, I've been keeping my limits low, meaning I haven't been going crazy and spending a lot of it. This is really important because remember, utilization is 30% of your credit score, so we really want to make sure that we're not overspending. And we've talked about it in many of these Boost Credit Talks, is that you want to use below 30%, but that really nice sweet spot is at 10%.
All right, so unfortunately, I do have another red square here, and it says I'm actually moving 10 spaces back or 10 squares back because I've had some hard credit pulls for car shopping. So if you are looking for a new car, or just in general, you want to avoid the amount of hard pull inquiries that you get for applying for these different lines of credit. Now, you do want to make sure that if you do go and purchase a car, I do have a friend who had multiple hard pulls at one.
He's actually here in the
car
audience.
shop.
Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about it, Demetrio? Come and talk about it.
All
And
right,
everybody knows
Demetrio.
Demetrio.
Yeah, so
Come
here's
talk about it.
Demetrio.
This is like when we were when I was thinking of these cards last night, I actually worked with Carlos. I was texting him. I was like, help me make these cards. We thought of Demetrio.
I went to the bank, I went to the dealership, and I got a car, but they ran my credit 7 times without telling me. 7 times without telling me. So if you go to a car dealership, make sure you ask if they're going to run your credit. Don't let them do more than 2 at the most. Okay, bye guys.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot
Sorry for
the
putting you
tip.
on blast.
Hey, you got a first-hand experience right there. I think that's very valuable.
Yeah. All right, my turn.
It's your turn, Liz.
Green. All right, so I've been watching these Boost Credit talks and I've been learning some more stuff. And one thing that they told me is that I can actually call my creditor. And these are some of the things that I can do with them. I can call them, and one thing I can do is I can say, hey, I've been making my payments on time. Can you lower my interest rate? And we all know how important interest rates are. The lower the interest rate is, the better. So I can call them, and hopefully they grant me that better interest rate. That's one of the things that I can do. I can ask for a higher credit limit also. Actually, a lot of people are really afraid to extend their credit. So people were telling me like, oh my gosh, like I just got my, they want to boost my credit limit. Should I do it? Like, yes. Anytime you have the opportunity to boost that credit limit, take it. It doesn't mean that you necessarily need to spend more money on that card. It just means that now you have more credit available to you, and it's going to ultimately reduce the amount of utilization you have because the more credit's available to you. And I moved back, so, I can also ask for, there's one more thing I asked for, forgiveness. If I made a late payment, I don't know if you guys know this happened, I feel like the more and more I do these Boost Credit talks, everyone's been asking, like all my friends and family, like, what's the best thing that you can do to boost your credit? And I say, okay, it's definitely not a 5-minute conversation. There's a lot that goes into it, but this was another conversation that I had is forgiveness. I had a friend who forgot to pay her bills on time just because she's been so overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. She was 2 days late, called her creditor, and they actually forgave the late payment and didn't charge her for it. So those are things that you can do that not everybody knows that they can do. It's not going to move you up a lot, but this just personally helps you a lot. So it's not a big jump, but it's jumped me up.
All right, so let me go ahead and see. And once again, I am moving down. So all the good luck I had at the beginning
Winning.
seems to be diminishing. So let's see, it says making a late payment, move back 2 squares. Once again, you want to make sure to make your payments on time. Even if you're only making your minimum payment, any late payments will have a negative effect on your account and consequently your credit.
All right. Red one.
All right, Liz. we're neck and neck, I feel.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we're there.
All right. I'm really competitive.
I'm going to win.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna win.
All right. So this one says, I didn't make the minimum payment. So this is another really big misconception is that, you know what, I don't have enough money to pay the full amount, but I'm going to at least pay $10 towards it. That's actually not even a good idea. It doesn't matter. A late payment's a late payment. If you can't make the full amount, you might as well not even make it. But you can actually call the creditor and you can ask to extend it. This sent me back 5 squares because it's almost worse than making a late payment. So try to not do that. If you feel like you're going to make a late payment, call your creditors. Try to set something up. Set some extensions for yourself if you can. That's something you can even do by calling creditor. Or call them later if you feel like you're going to make it late. Like, ask for forgiveness. Like, I'm sorry, I'll pay all the rest of my payments on time.
Definitely, as we mentioned earlier, one of the cards we pulled, I believe, was making a budget. So you can definitely make a budget to stay on track as well.
All right.
Okay, so positivity, y'all. It looks like I got 5 squares for monitoring my credit. So you can monitor your credit using multiple different platforms. I definitely recommend using Credit Karma. It's certainly a good place to definitely get your credit scores for TransUnion and Equifax. By monitoring your credit, you'll be able to know exactly what's going on a day-to-day basis, actually. And I think it's one of the most important things that folks with good credit do. You have to be kind of become a maniac about your credit, checking it, making sure that what's on there is accurate and so on, because really credit does run your life.
And like we said, keep monitoring your credit. Remember how earlier it was me, I got, what did I get? I got my identity stolen. So by monitoring your credit, that's one of the things that you can look out for. You would know, like, oh my gosh, like, who pulled out that credit card? It wasn't me. So you can kind of take care of it right away. And I got a green one. And this one actually is reporting my rent. And this moved me forward 10 squares. So this is a relatively big jump. And so a lot of people don't know that you can now report your rent. That's actually what we do here at Rent Reporters. And that's because, like we said earlier, renting can be so expensive depending on where you live. So reporting that huge on-time payment, you have to pay your rent on time unless you're going to get kicked out of that place you're going to live at. So you're already doing these on-time payments. It's time that you get credit for it. So that's what we do here, and we've seen anywhere between a 30 to 50 to sometimes even a 100-point jump. I think one of the people that we have on our website, Lindsay, went from being credited invisible to somewhere in the 650 range. So reporting your rent can be a huge significant jump for you, and it's really important. So that's the last of our cards, and I think the main lesson that we have within doing these cards is that it's really easy to move backwards on this spectrum. When you have derogatory marks or you do negative things, they're big jumps back. But doing these positive things take you in small squares forward, and it's going to take time. As you see, it's a really long, winding road, so it's going to take time. Be patient and do the right thing. But like we said, this talks on life with better credit. So we're going to talk about, now that you have this better credit, what can you do with it? So have you ever thought about how a good credit score can impact your life? It's no secret that that having that number benefits you if it's really high. You can survive with bad credit, but it's not always going to be easy, and it's definitely not going to be cheap. So having a good credit score will help you save money and make your life much easier. Here are a few things you can do with that better credit.
Definitely. And first, remember, as we've discussed in previous Boost Credit Talks, lower our interest rates are very important because it's the cost you pay for borrowing money, and often the interest rate you get is directly tied to your credit score. With your good credit, you'll be able to be eligible for a lower and better interest rate offer. And kind of to put this in perspective for you, the difference of even just 1% of interest on a 30-year mortgage can be in the tens of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of the loan.
Awesome. The next thing that this better credit gets you is it earns you more negotiating power. So with the better credit score, you have more leverage to negotiate a lower interest rate on credit score, a better interest rate on credit cards or a new loan, which means that greater negotiating power. You'll probably receive multiple offers from credit card companies based on this good credit score. Now they're coming looking for you. You no longer have to look for them. And you can even name drop. Like if I'm getting 2 credit card offers from company A and company B, one's going to give me a higher interest rate, and the other one's going to give me a low interest rate. I'm obviously going to say, well, so-and-so, B company is giving me a lower interest rate. I'm going to go with them. And then they were like, oh, well, we can match that, or let me lower that 1%. So you now have that power in your hands. So it gives you better power, and that's it for that one.
You also have a better chance for credit card and loan approval. Because with a low credit history, most of us probably avoid applying for new credit cards and loans out of fear of being turned down. Though lenders do consider other factors like your income and your debt with your good credit score, when you do decide to apply for a credit card or a loan, you can do it with confidence because you have a better chance of credit card and loan approval.
The next one that you get is approval for higher limits. So the amount of money that you borrow depends on your income and your credit score. So banks are going to be willing to let you borrow more money with this better credit score because you've already showed them that you can pay back what you've borrowed on time. And the reason you want this better credit limit, like we've talked about earlier, is it directly affects your utilization rate. The higher your credit limit is, the lower your utilization can be depending on how much you're using. So you definitely want that higher credit limit.
All right. Also, you'll actually be eligible for more rewards when it comes to like credit cards or special offers. With the higher score, lenders are putting more effort into getting your attention to come borrow money from them.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, one of the cards that I really thought about putting in when I was making them last night, but I didn't have time to, was, go back one slide, was the more rewards. So you can, with the better rewards, you want to now apply for cards that give you these rewards. The cards that don't give you rewards, you want to maybe try to slowly get rid of them because they're costing you less money. And the next one is, go back up one, is you have an easier approval for renting an apartment. The more and more landlords are actually using your credit score to screen tenants. So with good credit score, you can save the time and hassle of needing to find a landlord who's going to overlook damaged credit and you'll have an easier time of getting approved at the apartments that you want to live at.
And there's kind of a official, unofficial credit limit when it comes to getting a home loan. Though there isn't a specific minimum credit score required for a mortgage loan, if you are below 620, you will not be eligible for the automatic approval, and will definitely have to jump through different loops with the manual process, which probably won't even yield the results you want. So having a good credit score will definitely allow you to procure a home at a higher chance.
And lastly, you'll have no security deposits on utilities. So I got my first apartment last year, and unfortunately, I still had to put a security deposit down for some of my utilities. So if my credit score had been in better standing at the time that I was renting, I probably wouldn't have had to put a down payment. And sometimes that down payment can be anywhere between $200 to $300. You're later going to get it back, but having to drop that can be a financial burden. I think we're definitely learning the better the credit rate, the less you end up paying. When you have lower credit, you're paying for more than you actually have to.
Yeah, good credit can save you money.
And that's kind of some of the ideas that they come up with. It's definitely not all of them, but if we will definitely come up with more as we go through segments. So that kind of wraps up Life with Better Credit. Our big take-home message is, one, it's going to take time to get through this journey. Negative remarks on your credit moves you back. Positive remarks moves you forward, not as fast. Be patient, and with that better credit score, you have more financial options available to you. So at this time, we're going to open up for any questions or any comments that you guys want to say. I'll have either Demetra or Jen, who are kind of behind the scenes today, talk about them. Do we have any coming in, Jen? Or Demetra, whoever wants to.
Yeah, we have one from Nicole Wellington.
Okay.
What are some of the best ways to rebuild your credit?
The best ways to build it. Awesome. I get this question. I feel like if I had to say the number one question I get from family and friends now that I'm doing these Boost Credit Talks is, what is the best way to build credit? There's not like A, B, and C. There's no exact formula to build it, but there's things that you can do to help. And that's try to get approved for some credit anywhere you can. But if you're not at that point, do things that can help, like be a co-signer on something. What are some other ways? Start early. Wherever you are, try to find a way to start early. Get a secured credit card.
Pay your bills on time. If you do have some negative marks that are already on your credit, start working to get those off of your credit.
Yeah.
Like Liz said, you can reach out to your debtors. There are credit repair agencies out there. These are the type of things that you want to be doing so that you can get in a good position to actually build your credit.
And make a budget. So that's one of the Boost Credit Talks I think we have coming live is we're going to definitely show you how to make a budget, because I think that's something that's really commonly said is like, make a budget, make a budget. But if you don't know how to make a budget, they're just words. So we want to hope to help you build a budget, but the main idea is whatever your income is, set out all the things that you have to pay out on time and write your due dates by them and make sure that you're paying everything on time. So I think that's my quick answer. If you want to find out more, you want to give me some more information, feel free to call in our hotline. You can ask for me. Jen, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody our number that they can call? Oh, well, it's on our website. It's on our Facebook page. Call us. You can ask for me. I would love to chat with you. I would love to chat with you. And if you have any questions, let's talk about it.
Don't have any questions. Oh, actually, yeah, one just came in, again, from Nicole.
Okay.
When buying a home or applying for credit, are medical bills considered? Meaning, can they have a negative impact on credit? Yeah, so basically, if our medical bills is going to affect your chance of getting a home loan.
So I don't know if you guys can see it. I actually wrote it in pencil on one of these cards. That was going to be one of them. It wasn't going to be a good or a bad, but I was thinking of making cards that were kind of like roadblocks. And one of those roadblocks that kind of like makes you lose a turn would be like medical bills, because as we know, with the way that health insurance, like we don't have the best health insurance here in the United States. Not everybody has the opportunity to get it. So if you don't have health insurance, then you may have to have a really high medical bill, and paying that, can be really challenging. It will set your credit back if you cannot pay it, because it will send you to collections.
You'll get sent to collections, and it will appear as a negative mark on your credit score and credit profile.
But like I said, Nicole, if you have any more questions, I'd love to chat with you. I love that you're here watching. Feel free to call. We're gonna be off the air in about 10 minutes. So anytime after 10 minutes, if you want to call in, call and I can chat with you. Any more questions or comments?
No questions coming in from the comments, but I have one myself actually.
Okay.
If I call my banks or my credit card companies and tell them to lower my interest rates, will they do it?
Yeah.
They will?
Possibly.
Okay.
Well,
You
yeah.
know, it's kind of that saying, closed mouths don't get fed. So it's always worth it to try. There's multiple examples of it actually happening, but you don't know
Okay.
unless you try.
Yeah, you have to definitely try. I mean, you're not going to get what you don't ask for. So if that's something that you want to ask for, then go ahead and do it. I think that wraps up unless you have anything for me, Jen. Oh, Jen has our number. It is 626-765-8761. So give me a call, Nicole. I'd love to talk to you. I love that you're here watching, and I really hope that this helped. It was really fun. I have to say this was like, one, my favorite board, and B, I had so much fun making the cards. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I
Thanks
had
a lot.
a lot of fun, and I hope to see you not next Friday, but the following Friday. So have a good day.
See y'all later.